So you've been offered a new position with a new company, but should you accept that offer? Stay tuned for some of my tips. Hey folks, this is Kim. Welcome to livemorenow.net. Some of the very first videos I ever posted on YouTube were about the job hunting process, which were based on my many years of experience as a recruiter. And today I want to talk a little bit about how to handle a job offer when you finally receive one. I just recently accepted a job offer with a new company, and it was a difficult decision. It was only after very careful consideration that I accepted that offer. I've been with my current employer for about 14 years. So today I'm going to share with you some of the guidelines I use to make that decision. First of all, when a company extends an offer, they should be willing to put it in writing. And I always recommend that you take some time to think it over. It's usually not a good idea to accept an offer on the spot. So feel free to ask if you can get back to them in a day or so. This way, again, you can think it over, talk to some folks that you trust, your spouse, friends, family, whoever. But definitely don't confide in your coworkers, even those that you would consider friends, because you just never know. They may tell someone, and if somehow it gets back to your boss, you may find yourself getting fired before you've even accepted that offer. And by the way, an employer can definitely fire you for looking for a new job. So before you accept an offer, you're definitely going to want to take into consideration all the pros and the cons, the salary, the health insurance, all the benefits, vacation time, etc., your job duties, the hours, your commute, and anything else that might be important to you. Now, don't be afraid to ask some very specific questions about the benefits. For example, with my new company, I learned that the cost for health insurance was considerably more expensive than what I paid with my previous employer. So this definitely impacted the salary that I would be looking for. Most HR departments can provide an explanation of benefits easily. They usually have that information readily available. One thing that is important to consider, oftentimes you're not eligible for health insurance with a new company for 30, 60, maybe even 90 days. So you may need to look into COBRA, which is interim health insurance, and it's provided through your previous employer, and it can be very expensive. In my case, it was $400 a month. And I'm not eligible for health insurance with my new company for 60 days. So I'm $800 in the hole before I even walk in the front door. So again, just all the things that you want to take into consideration before you accept an offer. Now, in my case, after I took into consideration all the pros and cons, the costs associated with this new job, I actually decided to go in with a counteroffer, which is basically me negotiating the terms and conditions of my employment. Now, before you go in with your counteroffer, you're definitely going to want to have in mind what your ideal offer looks like, and that's what you're going to go in with, and then also what your minimum acceptable offer would look like. Most employers are going to come back with something in between their original offer and what you counter, the number that you counter with. So again, with that minimum acceptable offer in mind, that's going to help you make a decision and remove as much emotion as possible. These decisions are very emotional, so if you've got all your ducks in a row beforehand, you'll be able to make an educated decision. Now, when you do go in for a counter offer, you definitely don't want to sound cocky or demanding. That's a big no. So you might want to put it something like, I've given this offer very careful consideration. I really want to work for your company. I love the sounds of the new job opportunity, but in order for me to make it work, I'm really going to need this. Whether that's more money, maybe slightly different hours, whatever's important to you. A lot of these things are negotiable, and companies are more than willing to make some concessions for the right candidate. Now, if they're not able to respond to you right then and there, don't be nervous. Usually these decisions are not made by the one person on the phone. They probably have to consult with other people, perhaps their boss, whatever. And the worst case scenario is that they come back and they say no. And in my experience as a recruiter, don't think I've ever run across a situation where a company actually retracted an offer in response to a counteroffer. So don't worry about that. As long as your counteroffer was fair and you were polite about it, I can't imagine it turning into anything negative. Now, once they respond to your counteroffer, you will then, again, with your minimum requirements in mind, you will be able to make your decision. And if you accept their offer, great, you'll establish a start date and move on. But if you need to decline their offer, again, you want to make sure that you thank them very much for their time. I'm so sorry that this particular opportunity isn't going to work out. I'm not going to be able to make that work But I certainly hope that you'll keep me in mind if things change or for other opportunities down the road. But no matter what your decision is, I wish you the best of luck in your job search, and thank you so much for visiting livemorenow.net.